Hi, YouTube. How many of you believe in coincidences? I used to. I think I really don't anymore. 4 days ago, I wrote to my governor and other heads of the state. This morning, ex Senator Scott Jensen is running for governor, has a commercial. And in his campaign commercial, he said that he wants to work with our sister state, Wisconsin, and also getting more funds for adoption. I just about short circuited on in the moment. I was so fried out because I had supported this person because he was one of the doctors that supposedly was speaking out about what was or what was not a sickness. And anyway, I'm not going to really even promote him by honoring him with his name anymore. But I'll tell you the gist of the whole thing. First, I wanted to say thank you for honoring me with your presence, and I'll try to never let you down or disappoint you or give you a boring time that you've spent here. So, um, yeah, okay. I don't know how familiar all of you are with adoption or foster systems in different parts of the world, but with foster care, they get paid to take care of the children and sometimes adopt them themselves, but they're wards of the state, and the same with the babies in an orphanage. And we're a pro-choice state, even with the Supreme Court that just got passed Roe versus um I don't want to miss Casey. It was Wade, but the Casey case proceeded it, um, or overrode it, I should say. And in my state, there was a case taken to the Supreme Court called Doe, DOE versus Gomez, that made it still legal for women in my state to get an abortion. Even on that, why would somebody want to campaign to get more money to for adoption? There, when a person adopts a child, they pay attorney and court fees and literally put forth finances to receive that child. So why would the state that gets court fees for that ward of the state need more money on top of that for a child that they're going to sell? And who gets the money with the attorney fees and the courts, and where are those monies appropriated? It just fried me out that right after I was talking about this baby that these men from Israel had adopted, um, and they were affiliated with Wisconsin and the Mayo Clinic with that baby in my state and different things. It's There's a deeper story to it. Point is, foreigners got a baby. Now, an ex-senator running for governor in my state is wanting to acquire funds for our state on the premise of adoption. So, like, he's running like what? Pro-choice. So, will it just adopt people out to strangers? Does anybody have a census they want to take and ask the people that have been wards of the state and orphans how they feel about that? You know? So, yeah. A lot of us are like, Oh, anyway, I'm gonna light a cigarette and I wasn't like yelling or anything or like smoking hot, but it just floored me. It was like that takes some flippin' audacity for my local state legislatures not to contact me, but to talk within themselves and then make a commercial 4 days later and get on and talk about how they want more funds for the very thing that I want to put it into adoption and foster care. So, how about more funds for orphanages? I would have been hell yes, and I would have been 100% behind him, but not no more. That's sick. I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. So that's not not didn't make my day very happy. I like to keep up on what my politicians are saying in my state and what they're saying throughout the country, and but I'm not one of these that usually cares about memorizing anybody's name. I do though when I run across them and I see that the office that they hold or are trying to, um, then I'll pay some attention to what people are doing. And this one, well, I'm not gonna. I was gonna go down deep on what I thought his personality was after this, but I'll just leave it there for now. Talk about disappointment. What's new in this world, right? you know. But to me, it is all about the kids. Your kids, my grandkids, or whoever you may know. We may be safe, but future generations are not. But we're not safe either in that respect, and we never have been. I mean, if you're walking with God, you're always safe, but that doesn't give any monsters free. It's like putting a baby on a leash and saying you can just kick it once a day as long as you pay for it, you know? So, yeah, not cool. I am not happy. I mean, I'm happy, but not with that. We've had kind of a rainy morning with more rain coming in. Somebody called me Mrs. I don't refer to myself as Mrs. I gave my estranged husband a letter of divorcement that he can take and give it to the court at any moment. And there's a long reason for that. And I'm a really loyal, faithful person. But I just don't do liars and freaks in my life very gracefully and refuse to walk away from what I've worked hard for because I've had to give up. I've had my homes burned down. I've had all kinds of crazy things happen. And when I made this place, and it's taken over 30 years, so I've got 3 decades of my life that I'm just not going to walk away from. But and people would think, well, if somebody's so unhappy, well, I consider my frenemy somewhat just like that situation. And I didn't put myself in this situation. I was uh, guided by lies of somebody's untrue nature. So, anyway, there's that. Just so you know, and this isn't anything I don't say in front of anybody's face. I have a video that will sell half my place with my estranged Doug along with it if he agrees, and I'm out of here as soon as I get my half. That's so just on the missus thing, that's where I stand, just so you know. So anyway, so enough of that personal stuff. And I heard people, well, they don't want to put their personal stuff out on the internet. I don't give a, because I do. And I can read people's mind and tell you what's going on in their personal life anyway. That's a gift God gave me. Don't punish me because I see right through you. It's give me a damn break. That is my business, evidently, because that's how I'm made. You know, if I don't say anything, is entirely up to the person and what they deserve or what they need. Then I might say something. And yeah, but I don't just go calling people out or jumping on people's business or nothing just for no reason. If somebody's being demonic or they're around demonic shit and I do what I do and that's my job, my gift from God, and I get on somebody's ass, that's their fucking problem, not mine, you know? And up to that point, I'll be a perfect lady, you know? Just to that point. So, anyway, coffee break time. Cheers. Yeah. Who cares what anybody says, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm different, but I'll talk about anything with anybody at any time. I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I was raised around people that had to put on an image for the whole world. When you're raised in a Masonic home, um, and they have to put that front on for the whole world, you find it very humorous to expose all that. And that became my greatest gift. I was such an embarrassment to them because they couldn't control me. you know, I mean, I was a nice child. I did everything I was told. It wasn't like that. It's just that the pressure on their brain was too much for them, you know, literally. In fact, I know somebody I was very, very close to that did the dirtiest thing they could ever do to me was hurt one of my children when they were very young, or maybe both of them. And he's got a pacemaker now. A couple other people got cancer, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just, and in this is extreme cases of really bad things. It's just sort of in a coincidence. So I don't know. Somebody been might have been offered money to facilitate the propaganda of money for adoption in a commercial. Evidently, they were funded somehow to make very expensive commercials because he was campaigning on Facebook all winter long looking for funds for his campaign. Evidently, that was for his funky commercials, looking for the taxpayers to pay for children to be adopted. And if people really care about children, you don't want them in adoption or foster homes at all. It needs to be ended. If we really care about the child trafficking going on right before our eyes, that they're made legal, and I'm sure it's happening all over the world. I can't be the only one noticing something's really weird. Shit, just in daycares, you see how tiny people are abused, and foster homes, you hear it all the time. There's people that do things to their own children, lock them in their rooms until they're teenagers and they have to defecate and eat all, never see the light of day. Weird things, people do to people. It's true. And just think, if people that are their blood, that's their own child, can do things to people that are their own relatives, what do people non-relatives really care about? I mean, we do. There's a lot of us that do. But I would say the majority of people really don't even think about that. They hear about foster care and adoption and they think, oh, they're taken care of. No, they're not. They are not. You know, they've legalized child trafficking. They not and a lot is the open borders and the drugs coming in and the mothers forced to give up their children. I mean, I know of women that the father had been taken out of the home, then they come and penalize the mother and the children and will not get off those people's back because of something that one parent did. And the whole family's destroyed and the kids are in the system. I mean, there's all kinds of wicked stories. This isn't just my story or your story or, the next one or the next one. It's people we know or someone, you know. If you took one child around you and traced its lineage, you're probably related. You know, you have a relative that's been in the system. I'm sure all of you have been touched by this somehow because this is an isolated and there's hundreds of thousands of children. I mean, millions of children in the system wards of the state. I'm not actually sure on that number. There's another one to look into. But there's a lot, and they're not cared for like they should. But money being appropriated for adoption, that one got me. That got me. We do have a state orphanage, so that's paid by the taxpayers. The extra, this here, uh, Knights of the Round Table all sitting around. I guess we don't quite know what they're talking about, do we? Yeah, I was a little fried out. I couldn't believe it. I had actually supported this guy. Mm. And when he said it, he's kind of hanging his head and he's talking like this. And it's like, there's people, they got like shifty eyes. They'll like look away when you're talking to them or look everywhere but looking you in the eye. And I've always told, even my animals, I'll say, look at me when I'm talking to you, and they do. And but that's the thing. If you people don't look, if you don't make eye contact when we're communicating, you better just shut her down because I'm done. You know, that's it. I mean, if somebody's shy, that's one thing, but the aversion of a dirty soul, the lie within itself is just repulsive. And I witnessed that this morning with ex-statesman, how putrid, totally putrid sellout. Wow. Well, I don't know what we, the people, are going to be doing, but all the crap that's been going on and all the misappropriated funds that we've uncovered and we all know about. I mean, with space programs and, you know, Space Force. So who are they going to be forcing and what is it? Why don't we know more about it? We're paying for it, you know. I mean, I'll guarantee you, probably espionage from other countries probably know more about our secret programs than we do. because they all communicate. You can't tell me they don't. I know the bloodlines that run all the countries are connected. And that's a fact. It's been proven. It's just like Robert Seffer, anthropologists, these people and chronologists that and like me that have know the bloodlines, that have followed the bloodlines from the beginning until now. And we know where people settled and who they are, regardless of their name changes. Yeah, we know. And so we can't prove nothing. But when people get up and actually make commercials that make no sense at all, and it's right there in front of our faces, well, that's a time where we can get up and say, something isn't right here. You know, I could go on and on about the misappropriation of funds. That's something I know quite a bit, a lot through the decades of watching the government. I did start pretty young. Some of you know I had a paper out. I started helping my adopted brother when I was 9 for the Minneapolis Star and Tribune and the Sunday papers, which were really humongous. And then I took on that route when I was 12. So I was a 12-year-old making $40 every 2 weeks, which was not too bad. A lot of work, but it made me strong too. I had 72 customers most of the time, so that was pretty cool. And I used my wagon and my bike, and I had a paper bag, but yeah. So anyway, that was one of my first jobs. But my point is I started reading headline news. And actually I was encouraged to do that in our household anyway. We were like hip hip hooray, wave the flag, and all the rest of the Masonic symbolic crap that they do in every country with their flags and their holidays and their rituals. And the rest of it. So I hope, I think it's called St. John Baptiste or is Baptiste Day in Canada. My friends celebrated it's like our Independence Day. So I hope you had a happy holiday. Ours is coming up. I was married on the 4th of July in my yard under trees I call my Trinity trees. And it was on the day of independence because we were supposed to be independent from the world as one. That was supposed to be the theme of the wedding. And that was my first time I met my mother, came to my wedding. I'll leave it there. It was a hot day, very hot, 104 degrees. So. But anyway, but I've always been very independent, and I've never committed myself to somebody without the condition of I believe in God, and if you don't, and I mean the Most High, if you try and fool me and say you do, and then you're playing like another role that doesn't fit the script, you know, I'll nail you, and that'll be the end of that. Then they'll be held to pay, and I'm not playing because when I got to a certain age, I mean, I gave up my own home and career as a paraprofessional working with kids, teenagers, emotionally disturbed teenagers, and my other medical endeavors and different things I was doing in my life. to help somebody that really needed help in their life and help them succeed, I'm not backing down on nothing. I'm nailing everybody I come across that's a dirty son of a gun or a daughter of whatever wags on their backside. And I'm not backing down from any of these creatures. They make me sick. So around here, it's like, oh yeah, there goes your bloodline again, or something like that. I don't play. I'm not kidding at all. There's a lot of the Slavic, Romania, Phoenician blood around me. That's mainly what I live around, cults of witches. I'll give you, for instance, whether anybody thinks this correlates or not. But in my state, the first gay pride was in my town called Pine City. Pine means red, Phoenician red, blood, murder. Um, it's all true what I'm telling you. It's absolutely true, you know. And then I used to be taken to this stupid parade that Anoka, Minnesota would have, the Halloween capital of the world, that I had relatives live there and have a business there and different things. And yeah, I've been around some really weird things, that's for sure. you know, but yeah. Well, I hope everybody is doing well. It's not a very nice world we're living in, but we can take solace in knowing that there are some of us that are real and true and will stand up and won't sit down or back down. And that's just the way that is. So, here's a short, funny little thing. I was watching Sean Baker, MD, and he had a funny video that's like, the charts say that he's like obese because of like his weight and his age, which is hilarious because like they do things like that on me and it's really bad on women. The charts are not right. And the same with your BMI. It's and everybody is individual. But he's 6'4", he weighs like 253 pounds, solid muscle, ex Mr. Universe, 55 years old, and this chart told him he's obese. You know, like, yeah, right. Just like me being over 5'9", and what the charts would say a woman of my age, you know. It's like, oh, no, 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 no. You don't know what muscle weighs, you know. That's the truth. And a lot of people are like, I'm big boned. Well, I'm not necessarily big boned. I have very long bones. But maybe like a bird. Did you know a bird's bones are hollow? And that's what makes them easier to fly. Yeah. So even like a tiny little bird that looks this big around probably weighs about as much as your pinky, half of your pinky if you pick it up with all its feathers, you know. So it's this like tiny little brain and guts in there and a bunch of fluffy feathers. So, except for an ostrich, they're pretty big and they can't fly. Pigment penguins are pretty stout little things too. So yeah, I love birds. I think they're fascinating. Actually, my favorite bird is a duck. It's the best of all worlds, land and sea, and and the air. So it's got like, and maybe it's like the Trinity, like the air and the land and the sea. You know, that's probably not so funny. You know. Well, everybody, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your weekend. And it's been a little bit weird and stressful, weird, and people are weird, and people in my life are flipping weird. But besides that, I appreciate the normalcy that I've found out here through you all. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Please share the information that foster and adopted children are always in danger, and more times than not, they're never safe. So please, please, please help me make people aware that they're human trafficked. It's a fact. It's not a joke. It's true. Please let people know and see what's going on around you. Thank you. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.